Okay, anchor placement on a sea spay. I really don't think that much about the anchor placement. Think about the fly placement, all right? I mean, not the fly, the line placement, all right? Pretty much, if the anchor lays within a rod length of where you're at, you're going to be fine with it. Anchor placement, I think, is when you're talking the actual anchor where the fly is, that's more important on your other casts, perry poke, double spay. But on the sea spay, as long as we're drawing this and the line's laying out, we're trying to get the line to lay out in a semicircular pattern here, then we're not worried about where the fly lands, all right? Unless it hits you, of course. But it shouldn't. If you get this nice drawn, don't worry about where the fly lands. Worry about trying to get a nice, smooth shape on the water, all right? That's more important. Because as long as we get this nice, smooth shape, it's automatically within the correct zone, I should say. As long as we get a nice, smooth shape. As long as we do this motion, it's automatically going to lay within the correct area that it's going to take to make the cast. All right? When you're learning this at the beginning, we want you to draw big open movements on your sea because they're easy to control, easy to predict, and they work. It's a cast that wasn't one. It's a cast you'll stick with, you'll use it constantly throughout your Skagit type spay casting career. Big, open movement there. It works. Very predictable, very easy to keep pace with, I guess I should. But as you get more used to this, you're going to learn that you can draw, once again, different shapes to get different results. The more you start to compress or tighten that movement, the faster things start to move. But the reason we do that is if you have a lot of wind, you may need to compress that to build up more line speed so that your pickup will fight the wind. The other reason is to rearrange or change the place where the line lands on the water. When I do big open shapes like this, the line pretty much lands in a nice big broad layout like this. Right here, nice big broad congruous layout. Now then, I may want to change the shape because see how I kept hitting this stick down here? Well, to combat that, I am going to, see that? Drew a different shape, up, down, cut it down. Landed here, stayed 6 feet away from that thing. And this is why you want to use the yarn to learn this, is watch how close this yarn's going. Well, right there. And I stayed away from the clump of leaves there, all right? The other thing is, you hear me talk about trying to get an outward movement first and then coming around. If you get this outward movement and then come around, it improves. The best way I can describe it is it improves the load on the rod. You end up getting better casting. And I don't use it, I'm not strict on that. Most of the time, you know, when I'm casting, I'm just kind of relaxed and doing whatever. And I'm not concentrating so much on this thing here because it casts well. But if I was fighting wind, throwing a big fly, something that was a little bit out of normal, then I'm going to try to lay that line in a little closer. So now I get more of an outward, the rod tip actually travels outside the path of where the line is laying in the water, and you're pulling away, which seems to give better final casting results right there. Now I can see how the line, now when I come around, the rod tip is actually traveling outside where the line is laying. And you get a better tensioning or load or whatever you want to call it on the sweep.